So, good afternoon, everyone. I am NAGAL from Group C, CE 108. So, let's start. So, what is leading? Leading is the management function which involves influencing others to engage in the work behaviors necessary to reach organizational goals. One of the most important skills of successful engineering managers is the ability to lead a team to accomplish their goals. Managers should have a vision of what the end results and success of their projects would look like. So leading by example is also a key component for managers. If the staff sees a disciplined, hard work managers who have a positive attitude and is dedicated to positive outcomes, they'll be inspired to act in the same way. The ability to influence is an essential leadership skills. Influence to have an impact on the behaviors, attitude, opinions, and choices of others. Influence is not to be confused with power or control. It's not about manipulating others to get your way. It's about noticing what motivates employee commitment and using that knowledge to leverage performance and positive results. So leaders influence others. Leaders' ability is to have influence with others is a basic trust. In fact, our influence expands in a proportion to the amount of trust that exists in our relationship. So according to John Fritsch and Bertram Raven, how we prepared we are to accept their power, and if you are a leader, how can you develop new power bases to get the best from your people? So the basis of power. Let's explore French and Raven basis of power into groups, the positional and personal. So the positional power sources are legitimate power, reward power, coercive power, while the personal power sources are expert power and referent power. So the positional power sources, number one, legitimate power. A person who occupies a higher position has legitimate power over persons in lower positions within the organization. For example, a president, prime minister, or monarch has a legitimate power. So does a CEO, a religious minister, or a fire chief. Electoral mandates, social hierarchies, cultural norms, and organizational structures all provide the basis for legitimate power. Next is the reward power. When a person has the ability to give rewards to anybody who follows order or requests, that is said to have reward power. People in power are often able to give out rewards, wishes promotions, desirable assignments, training opportunities, and simple compliments. These are examples of reward controlled by people in power. If others expect that you reward them for doing what you want, there's a high probability that they'll do it. So next is the coercive power. When a person compels another to comply with orders through threats or punishments, well, that's sad, he or she is said to have coercive power. This source of power is also problematic because it can be abused. What's more, it can cause dissatisfaction or resentment among the people it's applied to. Threats and punishments are common coercive tools. Next is the personal power sources. Number one, expert power. When you have the knowledge and skills that enables you to understand a situation, suggest solutions, and give a solid judgment, people will listen to you, trust you, and respect what you say. In short, they will trust you on any decision you make. Next is the referent power. When a person can get compliance from other, the latter will be to identify with the former. That person is said to have a referent power. Referent power comes from one person liking and respecting another, and identifying with her in some way. So the nature of leadership. Leadership is essential for managing. The ability to effectively is one of the keys to being an effective manager because he or he has to become resources and lead a group to achieve objectives. Leadership and motivation are closely interconnected. By understanding motivation, only one can appreciate better what people want and why they act as they do. A leader can encourage or dampen workers' motivation. by creating a favorable or unfavorable working environment in the organization. The essence of leadership is followership. Sorry. In other words, it is the willingness of people to follow a person that makes that person a leader. Moreover, people tend to follow those whom they see as providing a means of achieving their desires, needs, and wants. So there are 9 traits to be an effective leader. First is a personal drive, the desire to lead, self-confidence, personal integrity, self-confidence, analytical ability, knowledge of the company in industrial or technology, charisma, creative, and flexibility. So let's start at personal drive. Personal drive. Persons with drive are those identified as willingness to accept responsibility, possess vigor, initiative, persistence, and help. The desire to lead. There are some persons who have all the qualifications for leadership. Leaders have strong desires to influence and lead others. Next is the personal integrity. A person who was well regarded by others as one who have integrity possesses one trait of a leader. Next is the self-confidence. The activities of a leader requires move that will produce the needed outputs. Self-confidence allows the leader to feel assured that his or her attempts to influence are appropriate and right. Next is the analytical ability. So leaders are oftentimes faced with difficulties that prevent the completion of assigned tasks. Next is the knowledge of the company, industrial technology. A leader who is well informed about the company, the industry, where the company belongs, and the technology utilized by the industry will be in a better position to provide directions to his unit. Next is the charisma. When a person has sufficient personal magnetism that leads people to follow his directive, this person is said to have charisma. Second to last is creativity. Ronnie Malevo defines creativity as the ability to combine existing data, experience, and preconditions from various sources in such a way. Next is the flexibility. People differ in the way they do their work. One will adopt a different method from another person's method. So you have to be flexible in order to accomplish your objectives or tasks. So next is the leadership skills. First is technical skills. Technical skills. These are skills as leader must possess to enable him or her to understand and make decisions about processes, activities, and technology. Number 2 is the human skills. This skills refers to the ability of a leader to deal with people both inside and outside the organization. So you have to deal the people in order for them to have the ability to finish the task given to them. Conceptual skills. These skills refer to the ability to think in abstract terms, to see how parts fit together to form the whole. So these skills requires you to have an intellectual to connect each information in order to achieve your objective or task. So that's it. Thank you.